India and Israel have close relationship. We have seen high-level engagement, and we know that the Indian External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, was in Israel. He met with the new leadership there, and with me is the Deputy Envoy of Israel here in India to talk about this very substantive relationship. Ma'am, welcome to WION. My first question is about the visit of the Indian External Affairs Minister. How do you see this visit as, and how has this visit helped cement the relationship further?
Well, we see it as a very good visit. It's been a long visit. It's quite a large number of days, from Sunday afternoon until tomorrow afternoon, Thursday, and so that's quite unusual in terms of a regular diplomatic visit. And he has been able to see quite a few different things in Israel. It's not just in offices and conference rooms. He's also been able to see a little bit of Israel. He visited in Ra'anana, and he visited the old city of Jerusalem, and he has some other visits lined up. So I think he's really getting to know Israel. And also in terms of the intimacy, he's had very good intimate meetings with our foreign minister and alternate prime minister, Yair Lapid. He's had a very good meeting. Just this morning I heard that he had a very good meeting with our prime minister as well as with the president. He had a good meeting with the speaker of the Knesset. And so the intimacy of these meetings and the very good level of conversations has really been quite good, and it's helped cement this already good relationship between our countries. We haven't been able to have any high-level visits for quite a few years lately because of COVID, and so we're very happy to see that it's restarting, that we're starting to have these visits again.
Ma'am, in terms of outcomes, we have seen a lot of outcomes from this visit, whether it's when it comes to cooperation against the COVID crisis, in terms of free movement of people, Israel joining the International Solar Alliance. If you can enumerate to our viewers the key outcomes from this visit of the Indian External Affairs Minister to your country.
Well, as you mentioned, the fact that Israel has joined the ISA, the International Solar Alliance, which is an Indian initiative, is really wonderful. Also, we have the agreement in principle to recognize each other's vaccination certificates, and that's a very important thing for us. We also see going forward joint celebrations of our 30-year anniversary of diplomatic relations. There's also a new agreement to cooperate on STEM for women. STEM is science and technology and mathematics studies, which is something very important for both countries, for women of both countries, and that's something that we'll be cooperating on in the coming months. So there's a lot of different, really a variety of different things that we'll be cooperating on, and this visit has really just cemented them.
Mm-hmm. Ma'am, both countries are also going to celebrate their 30th year of establishment of formal relationship. If you can give us the details on that.
So we're looking forward to really a wide range of different activities. First of all, we'll have high-level visits. I'm very, very hopeful that either that maybe the Prime Minister will, the Israeli Prime Minister will visit here, and that hopefully the Indian Prime Minister will visit Israel, maybe later in the year or in 2023, but within that framework of the anniversary. We're also hoping to see other ministers visiting back and forth. Our embassy here is working together with the Indian embassy in Tel Aviv to bring together a number of different programs. We'll be doing a lot of cultural programs here in India. We'll be really celebrating this wonderful relationship and the fact that we have gained so much over these years, both in visibility of the relationship, the scope of the relationship. It's really something that's quite remarkable, and we're ready to celebrate it.
Mm-hmm. Ma'am, you just mentioned about the visits, high-level visits. We know that there is a new leadership in Israel. With the previous leadership, we know the chemistry of the Indian Prime Minister with the former leadership, Benjamin Netanyahu. If we talk about the visits, so we can expect the visit of the Indian Prime Minister to your country and the new leadership to India very soon?
That's what we're planning on, and that's actually part of the conversations that have been going on this week. There has been, as I said before, a remarkable level of intimacy between the leaders, and also the chemistry is there, and they really had very good conversations, and these conversations are going to go on going forward. We'll be the prime ministers will be speaking again over the next few weeks. And yes, we do hope that sometime during 2022 there will be a very high-level visit, and there will also be lower-level visits from other ministers and other groups going back and forth.
Mm-hmm. Ma'am, one sector in which there has been increased cooperation is the agriculture sector and water management sector. You are essentially a superpower when it comes to water resources, and you're helping India a lot. If you can give us the details on that aspect.
Sure. So in agriculture, we will be opening, ahead of the 30th anniversary, we will be opening the 30th Center of Excellence in Agriculture within the next couple of months. We'll actually be inaugurating it. It's a center that's already started to work, and we have 12 more in the pipeline. So there'll be 42 centers of excellence all around the country, all over India, working with Indian farmers in establishing good methods of work, proper procedures in order to make the most out of every single drop and every single rupee that the Indian farmer invests in his farm. We want to help him get the most produce out of that in order to bring back the most returns. And that's what our agricultural expert has been working with the Ministry of Agriculture and with farmers all across the nation in bringing that forward and in helping the farmers. Over 2 million farmers have gone through our centers of excellence, and we're hoping that many, many more will go through. And as for water, we now have a new water expert here at the embassy. We're very proud to have the first diplomat who is totally dedicated to water issues anywhere in the world here at the Israeli embassy in New Delhi. And he is working with the federal government and with state governments around the country in order to find the best ways to work with them in order to improve their water capacity, their use of water, cleanliness of water, all these different projects that have to do with water, because water is life, and it's such an important issue for all of our country, for both Israel and for India. And we want to help India to get to the level where Israel has gotten in terms of reclamation of water. Israel reclaims 90% of its water today, and we're sure that India can do the same very, very soon, and it can reach a place where it's water independent. Mm-hmm.
It's interesting to know a diplomat just dedicated to water management. One of the crucial aspects of this visit was people-to-people relationship. The Indian External Affairs Minister met those Indians, those Israelis who are Indian origin, and also, of course, paid homage to the Indian soldiers who laid their lives during Battle of Haifa and, of course, World War I. If you can talk about this special people-to-people relationship which has increased over the years between the two countries.
Well, as I said, the relationship between our two countries has gone from something that was sort of under the radar and just based on security issues, and nobody really knew anything about it, to something that's very vibrant and very much alive and very visible. And so we see Israelis who are waiting to come here after COVID. They're really sort of chopping at the bits in order to be able to come to India and visit and see all your wonderful sites. And Indians who come to Israel are always very warmly welcomed there. And we see a lot of cultural exchanges, and we see all sorts of different exchanges, a lot of business going on between our two countries. The trade level has gone up to $4 billion a year, not including security, not including any sort of military trade, which is another sum altogether. But $4 billion from almost nothing over the past 30 years is really quite a remarkable achievement. And that's thanks to the people-to-people connections, thanks to business-to-business connections, and thanks to people from Israel coming here and Indians going to Israel and talking to Israelis and really utilizing this relationship in order to make friends and to make money.
Mm-hmm. Ma'am, we see a lot of groundswell support for Israel here in the masses. Whenever there is situation, you are in a hostile neighborhood. India also faces hostile neighbors as well. How do you see this automatic groundswell support for Israel, for Israelis here in India? We have seen recently what happened with your country. There was a lot of support, especially on Twitter. How do you see that?
Well, we love it. It's great. We really feel the love that the Indian people have for us. We love them back. It's an a tremendous feeling, when we open our Twitter feed in the morning and we see all these tweets about how much the Indians love Israel. I think we probably have the best job of any Israeli diplomats around the world, because we really feel the love here, and we're not like other diplomats in other countries where they have to struggle a little bit more for it. It's really fantastic.
Really fantastic. Ma'am, during the visit, there was a surprise for everyone else. Is the Quad meeting that happened between India, Israel, UAE and US. If you can tell us about the entire Quad which is being discussed. Can we see more meetings in the future? What is the purpose of this Quad, areas in which this Quad is going to work, and will we see a formal mechanism of this Quad meeting?
So I don't know if a formal mechanism, meaning an office that will be set up or something like that, that's not something that I know about. But there will be meetings. The four ministers will each nominate a high-level professional from either their foreign ministry or from another ministry, who will be part of a four-member working group. And then the working group will get together in order to see how they can bring businesses together from the four countries in order to work together. And there will be high-level meetings of the ministers again, probably at the Expo in Dubai. That's something that has been suggested and that probably will happen. We are very hopeful that this will really help bring a synergy of all the trade that's been going on between the countries, of all the cooperation that's been going on between the countries, meaning we'll make a whole that's bigger than the sum of its parts. And that's something that we are really looking forward to. My foreign minister and alternate prime minister has said that he loves that word synergy. Synergy means the whole that is greater than the sum of its parts, and he really sees how this will be a synergetic geometrical cooperation.
And will it be right to say that it's one of the key outcomes of the Abraham Accords that saw normalization of relationship between Israel and UAE?
Yes, of course. The Abraham Accords is something that has been blessed by India. India was one of the first countries to congratulate the countries on the Accords, and it's really something that can bring peace and prosperity to the Middle East. I think the Abraham Accords are something that all the countries of the Middle East at some stage will hopefully join, and this will really bring peace to the Middle East and prosperity to all the peoples of those countries.
Ma'am, my final question to you is, there are, of course, talks and speculations that this Quad might be against any country in West Asia. What do you have to say about that?
We don't see it as being against any country. We see it as being a positive force. We see it as being a positive force, as I said, for peace and for prosperity.
Well, thank you so much, ma'am, for speaking to WION. Pleasure having you here, ma'am. So that was the Israeli Deputy Envoy speaking to WION on several issues, whether it's the Quad, people-to-people relationship, cementing ties, and, of course, more high-level visits that can happen in next few months between the two countries. With video journalist Chandrasekhar, Sidhant Sibal for WION in New Delhi.